bloody sun rises over the 10th world. In the past, you fought bravely, but Odin calls on you once more. Join the Top Podcast on the evening of November 30th, where we'll venture out into Valheim. Come and fight the evils that haunt this world, or just build up a massive base with us. Join us on Discord, links in the description for all of the information and where we'll group up before taking on those that would destroy Yggdrasil. Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Rob. Joined with me are my friends Lou.
Hello, alligators.
And Mike.
Listen, I gotta get back to playing Valheim, so let's keep it tight, all right?
Yeah, you enjoying the recommendation?
Good call. I played about 6 minutes. I was like, this is gonna be the next 4 years of my life. I can tell already.
This is my identity. We just like go over to Mike's house and he's like got Viking stuff up all around, growing out a beard, and
I was trying to think of Viking jokes that I could not come up with one.
You know, low key, I did just decide to start growing out my hair and beard again, and I don't think it coincided with Valheim, but it'd be hilarious if it
was. Was like, that pun intentional?
What's up?
Was the pun intentional? Because it was a low key good pun.
What?
No? All right, you guys aren't up on your North mythology.
Loki. Oh, Loki. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was good. That's good.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
All right. Well, this week... Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm going to go.
This week we have a very special kind of off week, just deep dive, whatever you want to call it. Went onto the internet, had the intern scour the internet for a bunch of lists of the top 5. And we're going to rate them if they're top or they're slop. But then the internet did all this waste for work because you listeners really came through and gave us a lot of lists to also go over. So I think we each got one list for ourselves, but then we'll go over some of the user submitted ones, and we'll let you know if we think they're top or slop. And I think Lou and I will go nicer on our fan submitted ones, but Mike, you never know with him. He's a wild card.
I'm coming for you.
Oh my god! Put some lotion on, bro. I'm about to start a fire.
It was like Mr. Miyagi's hand slap.
Sex addiction? You got a problem with sex? You addicted to sex? Sex addiction or something?
One thing that pissed me off out of all.
All right. Well, Lou, do you want to start off with your list? Because I'm interested.
Oh, I gotta start. Well, that's not good.
We probably should have established an order or talked about this at all before we started.
Kentucky. Oh my gosh, I feel.
I have my
on
list
the
up.
Spot. Okay.
You got to go for it.
All right, go for it. Me?
Yes, you.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So Rolling Stones comes out with top 500 list all the time. People run them through the ground. They hate them. And I was just like, how do you make a list of 500 things? It's kind of aggressive, you know? And I wonder, is it the reason why you make 500 is so that you could just please everybody, but then you're pleasing nobody by doing this? So I picked the top 500 albums, and I didn't go through all of them, but I wanted to talk about the top 10. You know, so I mean, I looked up what makes a good album on Google. Ooh. And the good source and what is it, the AI?
Yeah. Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini said theme. So a classic album also has a central theme. Sound has a cohesive sound that is achieved through various factors, including repeated hooks and choruses and basic song structure and rhythms that are easy to dance to. And then artwork and packaging, I think that has a little bit less to do with that, but but it is art, so I respect it. I really don't care I don't know. Do you guys, is there iconic, when you think of albums, you think of iconic pictures?
I think there are some albums with iconic artwork, but I think that it can be I think it's irrelevant to whether or not it's a great album. I think it's just a cherry on top kind of thing.
Yeah. Like the number 7 here, I'm looking at it. I don't really care for that album cover, but it's an iconic album.
Fleetwood?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Cool. We're looking at the same thing. Good stuff. So, if this said top 100, my favorite top 500 albums, I would have no problem with this. I would totally get it. I will say though, so the number one is Marvin Gaye. What's going on? And I didn't know much about Marvin Gaye. I knew that like people make babies to his music, and I always felt it was kind of weird having a man in the room with me while I'm trying to have a baby with my. I personally, I personally like to be the only man's voice in my room when I'm having sex. I don't know about you guys.
The only time Lou is feminist is when he... Alright.
I mean, or women. Like I just don't want any voices in my room, But I
Oh,
am
he likes
trying
it
to
quiet. You
do
want to be able to hear a pin drop.
Well, I want to hear.
Enough about your love life.
Okay.
See, for me, I usually put on an audiobook, and I like a nice deep male voice to be reading in the background.
There's a good rhythm to him, so that you can really.
I have the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe on Audible for one reason and one reason only.
Helps him last longer.
That's something that Luna would definitely like that for sure. Yeah, and I have to say I love the Rolling Stones does have a really good like art writing piece, I guess, about Marvin Gaye and what's going on. I didn't know that what's going on was about the war, about some of the police brutality that was going on at the time, and that kind of like learned to love it a little bit more. And I listened to the album and was like, okay, I can understand why this is somebody's number one. Two is one of the worst popular albums of all time, the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. The idea of you naming your album Pet Sounds is one thing.
Okay, I'll give you that. The name is bad, but out of all the Beach Boys, that's like the one to listen to.
So garbage. It is so garbage, and you guys joke around about being mean to women. This is the most like. This is the scariest. Like, I'm trying to find the right words. That's like PG-13, but rapey sound I've ever heard in my entire life. These dudes are.
You really nailed the PG-13 on that one.
Thank you. It is. So last summer, so I listened to this album almost repeatedly because last summer I was gifted with A Beautiful Summer with my grandmother who had dementia, and the Beach Boys was something that she absolutely loved. And so we listened to the Beach Boys all the time. So I am very well versed in Pet Sounds. And yucky ducky, I would never let my daughter listen to this album. Grody.
Is that the album with teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini?
No, I don't think so.
That's the only Beach Boys song I know, like, for sure.
Wait, you don't know Barbara Ann?
No, I'm sure I do. That's the only one I know for sure.
Okay, so this has hits like "Wouldn't It Be Nice?" That's a banger.
Oh, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. God Only Knows. I guess that's all.
God Only Knows is the only good song in that album. I will say, I do like God Only Knows quite a bit, but the rest of them garbage, not good. All right, and then kind of the rest of it, I have never heard of Jonah Mitchell Blue. I listened to her album. It made me want to like sunbathe. You ever heard of like sunbathing your butthole? You guys ever heard of that?
The perineum tan is the scientific term, sir.
Okay. I apologize. It's kind of weird that you know that, but
it was a big on TikTok.
You don't get
immediately.
Apparently, well, someone was claiming that it's good for you. Like if you do it like 2 minutes a day, it's supposed to be good for you. Yeah, that was BS science.
And it's totally BS science, but it did make me want to do that. It's just a chick with a drop with the guitar. I'm not against it, but it's definitely not the top 3 album. And then it kind of just like Stevie Wonder's good. Abbey Road, I get it.
It's not even the Beatles' best album.
Nirvana. Yeah, that's fair. Nirvana, Nevermind. I know
Mike and I both know
Nirvana.
that. Yeah, Nirvana should not be top 10.
Yeah. With Mac.
They could be on a top 10 most overrated list.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they probably were if we've ever done overrated albums. I don't know if we have
getting close to that.
We have not.
I will say the Purple Rain is the most 80s album I've ever heard in my entire life. It makes me want to like swing my arms in a really weird white person way, if that makes any sense.
Is anybody else picturing Chandler dancing on a table right now?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'll see if I can find the GIF. Oh my gosh, it's such a. So Chandler and Monica are sleeping together, but nobody knows they're sleeping together. And then
spoiler for Friends.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil that 30-year-old show. And and at some point,
I do.
Rachel mentions that this new guy that Monica's sleeping with is the best she's ever had, and Chandler's like, "Oh, really? The best you've ever had?" And like he's like, "If I had
Breaks the
learned that
break.
I was the best you'd ever had, I'd probably start dancing like this." And then he hops on his table, and the best way anyone can describe it is starts moving his arms in a weird white person way. So
Wow.
like Lou said that, and it immediately
Clicked.
brought an image to mind. I'll see if I can find a GIF.
Bob Dylan, not really a fan. I can listen to like one song, then his voice just kind of bothers me.
It seems like dudes that love guitar love Bob Dylan. Is that fair to say?
Mike, do you like Bob Dylan?
No. Okay.
Super indifferent. Couldn't care less.
I think pretentious guitar people love Bob Dylan.
That's fair.
And
then at number 10 to hit that diversity is Lauryn Hill, the miseducated.
You're right, because Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, not enough diversity there.
Black woman, diversity, black and woman.
There you go. I don't even know who that is.
Not bad.
But
Lauryn Hill, the Fugees. You never heard of the Fugees?
maybe. But
YG.
wasn't really around my
YG Club.
wasn't really around the people I hung out with or what I grew up in. So
That's
we'll
fair.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then there's some bangers.
Revolver should be higher than Abbey Road, but yeah. So Lou, would you say that's a slop take? That was the whole point of this. Is you giving it a slop? I'm giving it a slop.
I am giving a slop, and I feel bad because I feel like this was made by a white man who has like one of those really cool hats and tight jeans. Like it seems
What
like
kind of
this
hat?
album.
Yeah, what's the really cool hat?
Oh man, I was thinking of like a not like a male boy hat, but close to it. Does that make sense?
Like a Peaky Blinders hat?
Peaky Blinders-ish hat, yeah, but like it's red, and they have a toothpick in their mouth, and they have a goatee.
Oh gosh.
But
This is such a specific image.
you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I feel like you actually
lot of-
looked up who wrote this list and are just describing an actual picture of them right now.
Well, that person would get a lot of hate mail if they actually put their name on it. So I do not think. Oh, I think there is actually, but okay, but yeah. Nevertheless, it seems like this like list of albums, especially in the top 10, were around in the 70s and 60s, around probably when they were like a kid and music was like big for them, and they were in California. Looks like, and they were just like having a good time as a kid. And I don't want to hate on that.
There's
but
30 people that made this list.
Oh,
that's how you make
yeah.
a list of 500 albums.
That's fair. You did the research?
Well, I just scrolled up and it says written by, and then a whole big old paragraph of names.
Yikes.
One of them could have been, that white guy with a cool hat and a goatee and toothpick.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Could have been all guys.
The name
white
like
guys with
Jonathan.
cool hats.
Chuck Eddie
Jonathan
fits the
cool
bill.
hat white guys.
Bernstein.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm giving it a slap. Mike, you giving it a slap?
Honestly, I had not listened to the overwhelming majority of those albums, but I feel strongly convicted by Lou's take, so I'll jump on the bandwagon here.
All right. For mine, I picked. I got a list from Collider. It's the top 12 best cartoons that will make you nostalgic for the 2000s. We're just gonna go through the top 5 here to kind of get through there. Number 5, let me find it, is Teen Titans. I missed the Teen Titan thing, so I think it shaped some people's preferences just by the little I did catch, but I was never the biggest fan of it. Mike, you sound like you were a big Teen Titans fan.
I never sat down and watched it through like chronologically, but I would catch episodes here and there, and it was a banger for sure.
The one episode
I'd be interested in going back and watching.
Yeah. The one episode that stuck in my head is it Cyborg? That's the guy's name, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I have to go 110%, and he's like destroying himself. I don't remember how it resolves, but I just remember that he was like always like I have to go 110% and everything like that. Lou, Teen Titans, yes, no?
I am a Teen Titans fan. Yeah, I really love. It's the first. It was probably one of the first cartoons that had progression in it that I liked. I enjoyed as a kid. And then right at like the last season, they like dispersed and they started their own thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Number 4, Invader Zim. Again, never really caught any of those. It was 2001 to 2006.
That was not one of my big ones.
Yeah, that kind of freaked me out. I'm not gonna lie.
There were some weird cartoons in the 2000s.
Yeah, there was.
I think, Lou, this show, if you haven't watched it, I think you'd like it. It's Samurai Jack. Is that up your alley?
Yeah, I watched. Yeah, I watched Samurai Jack. It's very like anime-y. I never finished it though.
It's one I've always considered watching for sure.
Didn't they bring it back? So they went to 2017.
That's what I heard.
They did bring it back. Yeah.
Number 2, Futurama, which I personally am very much a fan of.
That wouldn't I get that it's animated. I don't consider that a cartoon.
How is it not a cartoon? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, so like
2D
I'm not
cartoon.
saying I know for sure what the definition of cartoon is, but like for me, a cartoon is directed for children, and an adult or like an animated TV show can be for like all cartoons are animated TV shows, but not all animated TV shows are cartoons.
I think cartoons can be for anyone. Like Simpsons cartoon, Family Guy cartoon. I'll give you South Park. I'll give you that one's animated. That one's not. I guess it's like the 2D drawing style for me is what a cartoon is in my head. That's my truth of what a cartoon is. But
yeah, but even now, like a lot of cartoons are, animated and 3D animated cartoons were a thing.
Mm-hmm. I am okay with that being number 2, and number 1 had to be Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Absolutely top. No question on that one.
No question. We're giving this list a top. Mike's giving Futurama a slop because apparently it's not a cartoon, but
I mean, I wouldn't consider it a cartoon. I mean, the list as a whole gets a pass. I'd say individually there's some top and some slop.
Yeah. I had just standouts. The Very Odd Parents, number 8. Number 9,
Nice.
Ben 10. Never got into, but it was huge.
I'd rather
Ben
watch
10.
Danny Phantom personally.
Danny Phantom comes in at number 11.
Ooh.
Just kind of...
robbed.
Kim Possible's number 11. Sorry, Danny Phantom's 12. I misspoke. I think I said 11.
Okay, both of those should be higher.
Yeah. I've never heard of Fillmore. Never even heard of it. That was number 10.
Dude, Fillmore was a banger. Fillmore was an absolute underrated gem. It was like a Law and Order knockoff cartoon about a hall monitor and his goth friend. It was great.
What channel was it even on? I've never even heard of it.
I want to say it was Disney.
Have you heard of it, Lou?
I've heard of it because of the egg ship. He looked like Little Bill, but grown up. So I've seen those like memes with it, and then people always were into like the idea of this is how I started to like big goth chicks. Right.
That and Danny Phantom.
I was gonna say it was a gateway drug to
and Teen Titans.
Yeah. I mean, they
there's
were
a
really
common
pushing
theme.
the goth chick.
Wow, look at
There was a
that.
common theme.
Didn't realize that, but you're right.
Yeah. All right, Mike. What list did the intern get for you?
So, the intern stumbled across. I'm not even gonna pretend here. I found this list. I thought it was hilarious. I stumbled across it in a YouTube short, and it was the top 5 hottest cartoon characters. And I was like, oh, there's no way this list will make that episode. And then I saw the list and I was like, this needs to be discussed.
I already found a self-defeating flaw in your argument, but go ahead. For a previous argument we talked about. Go ahead.
Fair. I see what you're saying. I didn't make this list. I'm just giving the title that the list was given.
All right.
So, yes, number 5 is the girl from Futurama.
Smash. What?
Which I will
Wait,
say...
the one-eyed girl or Amy or Leela?
The one-eyed girl, yeah. Which, I mean, top, for sure.
Muscle mommies.
Or bottom, whichever.
Oh my god.
Number 4, Fiona from Shrek.
Ogre? Yeah, smash.
And then that was the thing, is
Before or
that
after?
it wasn't specified. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
ooh, it's a tough
Yeah, there's
one.
a theme here. There's a theme that's going on.
Number 3, Ariel in mermaid form, and we're gonna specify Little Mermaid 2 when she's an adult,
Yeah,
but she
smash.
has to be in mermaid form.
Would you rather? So the classic question is, if you had the marry a mermaid, would you rather the top or bottom half be the fish part? What would you guys pick?
Top half human.
Lou?
Does the fish have a vagina if it's the bottom part?
Yeah.
Is there?
It's human. It's humans from the waist down or human from the waist up.
Well, can I stick my? If she's human from waist up, is there something? Sure. Yeah. Waist both.
Oh no,
All of it.
that's just a human. All right, well, we'll move on to this. This is because Lou doesn't seem to want to keep this PG-13.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I'm sorry.
Number 4 or
number
2.
Number 2, Tinkerbell.
Mm.
But
too
Tinkerbell
short
staying
for me.
Tinkerbell's size. Yeah. That's a hard slop in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a slop.
And then number 1, the Porsche car from the
Smash!
movie Cars.
What'd that mouth do? Sorry, Mom.
Oh my god. Listens to every episode.
Yep.
What do you got? You got a sex addiction? You got a problem with sex? You
My
addicted to sex? A sex addiction or something?
I think that's John Harbaugh. It doesn't sound like Jim, but you know.
It's one of them. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, I mean, that's for the meme, I'm giving that list a top because that's what it was for. But if that was your real list, I'd give that one a slop.
Oh yeah, I saw that and I laughed so hard for so long that I was like, we got to share this.
Lou's still thinking about that fish question.
I am still thinking about.
Look, I got to be
I don't
married
agree.
to this person. I don't want to deal with no conversation and fish breath for the rest of my life.
I don't.
We'll make it work.
Oh my gosh. Top, sure.
All right. So let's go on to the user submitted questions. But I think we'll have a little more discussion. I just kind of picked them in random order. First one is Arn's Just Food list. Number 1, Chicago deep dish is not good. It's an unreasonable amount of cheese and the crust ranges from meh to not good. Arn, my opinion, it's a slop take. I freaking love Chicago style deep dish pizza.
I've only had it once. It was terrible. Top.
Loses the deciding factor.
I'm gonna stick. I mean, you guys know how I feel about
Yeah,
pizza.
I know.
He's
We
going
all know
top.
how you
Not
feel
really.
about pizza.
Anything that is close to looking pizza is the top pick.
There we
You
go.
got a sex
Well, I
addiction? You
have
got a
to
problem
do
with sex?
I don't-
Sex you
I
addicted
don't.
to sex?
That's not
Sex
the
addiction?
same.
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
not the same.
So, where did you have like a frozen Chicago style? Like, did you go to an actual deep dish like restaurant, Mike?
Oh, I don't remember. I was young.
Oh, well, okay.
But I remember being like, this is soup. This is a bread bowl soup.
I mean, I thought girls were icky too when I was young, but I mean, we're men now.
Yeah,
So-
but like I liked other forms of pizza. I'd try it again. I just didn't think it was good.
Well, once we get Lou to get that frozen pizza, well, no, I don't want that to be a representation of Chicago. But number 2.
I mean, it felt pretty authentic. There was a bullet in it, so like,
Bullet in it, huh?
you got it from the south side.
Yeah, I see the joke there.
it's the murder capital of the country. That's the only
Yeah.
joke there is.
See the joke. I get it.
Chicago overrated city. That's my take. Number 2, roast. I think I meant to say roasted potatoes aren't boring. You just suck at cooking. I didn't know people thought roasted potatoes were boring. So top.
Top 100%. Yeah. They're easy to do wrong, but if you honestly, they're also not that hard to do right.
No, they're
so
not.
like,
Not my
I guess
favorite.
it's just definition of how what's the right way to do it, and then we can make a decision, and then I'll make a decision.
Cut them up.
I
Put
mean-
some like oil on it. Some herbs. Some cheese. Put in the oven. Roast it.
Okay. I like to boil
Basically-
my potatoes first, and then finish them in the oven.
mhm.
They're crisp on the outside and and fluffy on the inside.
I think that counts as a roasted potato.
Okay.
As long as you're
So,
cooking it in
yeah.
the oven at some point, it's
Mhm.
a roasted potato.
All right. Then yeah, top.
Yeah, not my favorite way to cook a potato, but not boring. Number 3, salting tomato anything is underrated. It is so important, especially for sauces. No sugar needed. Salt will fix it. What do you guys think?
Put sugar on their tomatoes.
Well, and some people put sugar in their spaghetti sauce, and I think
Yeah.
they're out of their minds. You get some salt, and if you really need that sweetness, hit it with some fresh basil. Yeah, I'm with you. Don't sugar your tomato sauce.
I'm sure like most of the canned stuff you get has some sugar in it, just because we're
Oh,
Americans.
yeah.
Yeah. I,
That's why I make my
sorry.
tomato sauce from scratch. I get actual like just a can of straight tomato sauce, or like crushed tomato, and then season it from there.
Mm.
But like your Pregos and stuff, yeah, there's sugar for sure in that.
Yeah, I don't like tomatoes unless it's a byproduct of tomatoes. So I'm gonna abstain from this one because it's not my thing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of straight tomatoes either. I do know my dad swears by salt, pepper on a tomato and just eating it like a freaking cookie.
I'm so strong. I'm so tough. Yeah. I've recently learned to love tomatoes. I will not eat it like an apple, but I do enjoy a good like schetta, that kind of stuff. It's not just like made. But yeah, I agree. Top.
Number 4, finishing salt on desserts, brownies, cookies, chocolates is severely underrated, though it is starting to take off. Never tried this.
I agree. I made some pretty bad healthy brownies last night, and hit it with some finishing salt, and they got slightly better.
All about balance. So top.
And then number 5, mushrooms are underrated. Some people just don't like them, but a lot of people don't like something, which is I think it's a type of mushroom, which when harvested at different times creates portobellas, cremini, and white button mushrooms. So trying different mushrooms is important, but also preparation is key. Mushrooms should be meaty, not soggy. Mike, as someone being a person that did not like mushrooms to now likes mushrooms, your take on that?
He's exactly right. Most people don't understand just how long you need to saute a mushroom to get all the liquid out of it. Those things hold water for ever. So low and slow in a pan, little olive oil, a lot of salt. You get all that liquid out, and oh my gosh, they're amazing. But it's if you prepare them wrong, they're soggy, they're disgusting. Top all the way.
I don't like mushrooms, but I think it is the sogginess. So maybe if I tried them, it'd be different. But I hate the texture of them.
I'm not a huge mushroom fan. I'm not saying I don't like mushrooms. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like cooking with mushrooms. How often do you guys? Well, I know Robert, you
Never.
don't cook with mushrooms. But
0% of the time.
Right. I get it. But like, how often does mushrooms like on your rotation? Like,
It's not super common, but I I love them every time I cook with them, and it's just not something I liked for a long time. So it's something I don't keep on hand regularly, but I'm always super happy when I do cook with them.
yeah, I'll stick with the same thing. But yeah, I'll say top.
All right, Arn. It seems like everything but your Chicago deep dish was a top answer. No,
It's like 4 out of 5 is the score to beat.
that's a top list. Next is Ben's random opinion list. 1, stone construction is pitifully underrepresented in modern buildings.
I mean, it's true. You don't see a lot of stone
Yeah.
construction anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, top. It's an easy top. Number 2, in stories, character is so much more important than anything else. I simply could not understand anything else being considered as the most important aspect. Visuals can be cool, but it's dangerous to see them used without character. Visuals and other things can definitely tie into character. This one I'm going to have to say Slop. I don't think it's the most important. I think usually story writing there's three main parts: the plot, the setting, and the characters. And the best thing to do is find a good balance between them all. Because then you get some stories, like some books, where I care about this character, but if the character is not in the book, I don't want to read this book anymore. Like, it's not worth it to me. Which I guess kind of does his point, but like, I guess that to his point, the character matters, but all the other ones don't matter to me. So I feel like you need a healthy balance. So for me, that's a slop answer.
Can you reread it? I'm not sure
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand what he's saying here.
I'll keep out the parentheses. In stories, character is much more important than anything else. That's the gist. That's the main argument here. So when you read a story, watch a story, what is character the most important thing to you guys?
I'd say if we're breaking it down into all of the constituent parts of story and picking which of them is the most important, I would say that character is the most important. But I don't know that story can stand on its own. But I don't think that's what he's saying. And so I'm going to give him a top on that one.
You got an opinion on this?
So he's saying that character development, character is the most important of all the rest of the story.
Yep, more important than the plot, more important than the settings, more important than the visual, more important than, I guess, audio, if it's a movie, visual and audio.
That's really hard, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of like any type of story where all I care about is the character. I don't care about the plot or the setting or anything else.
I would contend that plot in most cases is actually just disguised character development, but that gets into some more that's some deeper digging you have to do in terms of your philosophy on story.
Mm-hmm.
I think of like when I think of this, I think of like movie actors who are just the same thing over and over again in all their movies. Like The Rock is just gonna be The Rock. Like Ryan Reynolds is just gonna be Ryan Reynolds. People just like eat that up and they'll watch whatever that's in it, and they don't really care about the plot. Or I mean, a really good example that I mean, if Jack Black's in it, it's probably gonna be a good movie for me. It's
You
not
gonna
gonna
watch
be
the
like
Minecraft
ranking.
movie?
Probably. Why not?
Oh, jeez.
You know?
Jeez, you're a masochist.
I mean, I'll probably like dabble in it. I'm not saying it's gonna be my favorite movie all time, or I'll watch the whole thing, but I'll try it. I don't know, but I disagree. I think it's a slop.
All right. Next one.
I would love for him to get on the podcast and talk more about this though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, leave a comment down below or in our Discord, Ben, and we can kind of mull it over there, and maybe get back to it on the pod. Next one is hardcore. Oh my goodness, my brain just did a brain fart there. Hardcore Henry, while not tying to any pre-existing IP, is one of the best video game adaptations ever made because it's based off of first-person shooters as a genre. Never seen Hardcore Henry. I remember seeing trailers, but to me, that just did not look like a movie I want to watch.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Is this just a first person? Yeah. Is it just a first person? The whole thing is first person?
Yeah, so it's set like it's a first-person shooter. It's all set like, I think it was probably a GoPro or a nicer version of a GoPro on probably his chest or like around there, because
Yeah.
if you look at first-person shooter, it's not actually where your head is where most angles are. But yeah, just to me, that detracted from the movie for me, so I didn't even want to see it. But I will abstain because I have not seen it. Looks like what?
It looks like it would make me sick. I feel like an old man. Be like, kind of just like, whoa.
Well, did you get a little
I'll
motion
pass.
sick there?
Yeah, I've never seen it either, so I'll pass.
All right. This one's getting a pass because none of us have seen it. Number 4, gumballs are the best candy. That's a slop. I'm sorry, Ben.
Slop. Yeah, no, not a chance.
How many do you think he can put in his mouth, though? You think
I
he's
mean,
out here just
that's
like...
a separate
What's
question.
the chubby bunny? With
One I
gumballs?
would
He
love
just
to
out
have
here-
answered,
probably-
but
If I can see 3 gumballs in your mouth, it's a top, for sure.
10
Like,
likes and Mike will
sure.
play chubby bunny with gumballs.
all right, sounds fun.
All right. And number 5, the combat in The Last of Us is good. Bite me. It's a quote.
I love the confidence. I have absolutely no idea because I haven't played.
When I was mad at The Last of Us, it was not because of the combat, so I'm going to give you a top there.
I mean, everybody knows how I feel about it.
It's like pizza, for Lou.
It's like pizza, baby.
All right, next we move on to Becca's strong opinions about weak things. Number 5, winter is gosh darn beautiful, and in most of America it doesn't even get that cold, so you can all shut up and deal with it or move somewhere southern. And Arn does have a take that we're just kind of lump it in here, that winter is better than summer. So,
Okay,
is
winter is
all
better than summer is a hard. I mean, look, I'm biased as all get out as somebody without walls on my transportation. So I don't want anybody to tell me what isn't cold. But winter is not that bad, and people do need to toughen up. However, better than summer, I don't know about that.
I might say winter is better than summer. I'll give you the top for that one, and it is beautiful, except like February when all the white snow has been turned gray from just the slosh, and you're just like, I'm done with this. Lou,
I also love winter. I mean, I feel weird saying it because everybody loves summer so much, but I just love. I don't know. Growing up in the area that I grew up in, just how peaceful it used to be in the winter. It's just been. I'm a big winter fan.
would you say it's
For
better
me-
than summer?
I think it's better than summer.
Here's the way I look at it. The best part of winter is the day where it's just snowing like crazy, and you don't have to go into work, and you don't have to go out. Like you have everything you need in the house. You don't have to leave, and you can just enjoy the snowfall and watch it, and it's beautiful, and that's awesome. Does that beat a day at the beach
Yes.
with my family and with food
Yes.
and beer
Yes.
and beach games? I don't think it does. And just because Rob's a pale ginger and he's scared of the sun, that doesn't change it. Doesn't make it less true.
Number 4, 25 days is not enough time. Saw the thing pop up before the sound did. 25 days is not enough time to fully enjoy all that Christmas season has to offer. If I'm going to put in the work to put up decorations in my own house, I get to put them up early enough to enjoy them thoroughly. So we'll narrow this down to Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving should be acceptable. Top or slop?
Here's the reason that is slop. Because Becca has never in her life taken down a Christmas light on December 25th. And the idea that people are making her take her lights down immediately upon Christmas being over is ludicrous. Nobody cares if your lights stay up till at least New Year's, so that's a month. And frankly, keep them up all winter for all I care. But this idea that because you only have 25 days, you have to scooch your Christmas into the Thanksgiving era. That's the other thing is Thanksgiving's usually on November 25th, give or take. So it's not 25 days again because you get some of November as well. I think this is horrible reasoning, but at the same time, you're an adult. Do whatever the heck you want. Just this is bad justification.
I know a lot of people with real trees. I've seen a lot of trees on the curb, December 26th. So
I mean, nobody's making you do that. You can keep them up as long as you want. Frankly, I don't like putting up a Christmas tree, but I leave it up all freaking winter just because one, I'm lazy and I don't want to put it down, and two, it's nice. Get some lights on there,
yeah,
as we discussed last year, I'm pretty racist, and I like white lights only on my Christmas tree, and I love that glow, the warmth, the way the lights kind of play through the needles and cast on the wall like that. It's gorgeous.
You for real only like white lights?
I greatly
that just
prefer
a
them
bit?
to the colorful Christmas lights. Yeah.
no,
Okay.
colorful.
Cool.
Lou,
Yes, I chose
that-
my words with the utmost precision in that moment.
Lou, as the
yeah.
only one here that grew up and I believe still continues to do live Christmas trees, what's your thoughts?
Oh, thanks for remembering that. That's very kind of you. I also am a big fan of um, just do whatever the hell you want. You're an adult. But
You know I'm a
I don't know.
degenerate.
I don't know.
Did you
It's
add
hard
that
for me
already?
to tell.
Oh yeah, baby, I work quick.
Uh,
I'm sorry, Lou. We just cut you off for no reason.
no, it's cool. No, I have nothing important to say, anyways. Yeah, I think it's a slap answer. I think you should take down your Christmas trees.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah,
Ooh.
I think you should
yeah.
take them down. So what day should people be taking down their Christmas trees?
The day after Christmas.
See, Mike? He's one of those people.
That doesn't make it right.
It's over. Nope, it doesn't.
Two
It
slops
truly
for
doesn't
different
make it right.
reasons, so at least that has some discussions. I'm gonna bias because it's my wife. I'm gonna say that's a top answer because she does all the like main setup, so I don't care because she's doing most of it, and she has always for her family. Like she's been the Christmas tree person.
Okay, hold on. We need to establish this. It was not for her family. The second Becca moved out, her parents threw out all the decorations.
Oh my gosh, why?
Because she was the only one who
Yep.
wanted them.
Yep.
It wasn't for her family. It was for her, and it was put up with by the rest of the people in her home.
I think she
I don't
saw
know
it as
why,
the,
but-
the family tree and everything, and the ornaments.
No,
but-
that was Becca and Becca only.
I don't know why I find that so funny. That's hilarious to me.
I agree.
her parents gotta clean up the attic space. Need the spot in the garage.
So funny. Oh my
Number
gosh.
3, ham is gross. That's it. I'm giving that a slop.
I
Slop
think
for
that's
sure.
slop.
You're
Yeah,
you're
that's
doing it
slop.
wrong.
She hates all ham. Doesn't matter if it's the honey baked ham, whatever. She's just a ham hater.
Damn
I
it.
oh man, I bet I did my. First of all, a honey baked ham is okay. Honey bake your own ham. It will be half the price. The work isn't that hard, even though it takes a long time, and it's so much better. I did a honey baked ham for a Christmas brunch a couple of years back, and oh man, absolutely slapped.
Number 2, there are almost as many unreasonable expectations placed on men as there are women. We just ignore them, i.e., body standards, under emotional, the draft, etc.
Guys, the crown officially goes to Becca. Top. Becca is misogynist of the week.
I'll give her a take a top.
No comment.
Who's not brave enough? Because see,
I'm
AKA,
not-
he would have said it was a slop if he wasn't scared. So
No comment. People are not going to compare me to that one bald guy who's kickboxing. I can't remember his name right now.
Mike
Joe
Tyson.
Rogan?
Ew, neither of those. No, I can't think of his name.
Oh, kickboxing. I don't know.
He's like super misogynistic, bald head, rich dude that just like puts women on his podcast and just poops on them all day. I can't remember what it was, but
If that's what you're
Remind
into,
me.
we're not here to kink shame.
You know I'm a degenerate.
kink shaming is my kink.
Ah. All right.
Ooh.
Number 1, Sokka's character development is better than Zuko's. It's subtle and beautiful, and it takes time over all 3 seasons.
Flop.
I haven't watched it recently enough to give a educated answer, but I like
That's a
Zuko's.
slippity slop,
so-
baby.
I'm leaning where Rob's leaning on this. I would need to rewatch. But ultimately, and also, I mean, the show's not even done yet. We only have 1 season. We got to see where it goes.
What are you even talking about?
It's just the one movie. That's all they came out with. So
Oh
I
my
don't-
god. I don't even want to be on the podcast with you guys anymore.
This is where Lou draws the line. Out of all the stuff we said, this is the line right here that Lou will not
Dude,
cross.
I can't do this.
Mike only likes color. Mike doesn't like colored lights on his Christmas tree. Fine. He called me a misogynist for a month straight. Fine. They pretend that the live action Avatar is the one that counts. I'm out of here.
All right, for Lou's, because I want to keep on doing this podcast. I'm sorry, Beck. I'm gonna have to say it's slop for Lou's sake.
Thank you.
I think it's
Appreciate
slop
that.
because it's slop. I'm not even doing this to appease Lou. But I would be willing to, next time I rewatch, keep an open eye out for it.
I do think it's underrated. Like people don't talk about it
Sokka-
enough.
Oh, I'll
What, Sokka
grant
had,
you
like-
that.
Sokka have one episode where he fights the fire guy, right? And then he learns how to make a sword. And then he becomes a man.
Yeah, but his character arc is about
Goes
learning
from
to be
misogynistic like Lou to, someone that's not like
Oh,
one of us.
yeah, he has sex with the moon, and now he's a man.
He doesn't have
Well,
sex with the moon.
She
his
turns into
girlfriend
the
turns
moon.
into the moon.
Were they
He
actually
has
really
sex with the
dating?
moon.
That's the question. He kissed the moon.
Oh no, he had sex. No, it's funny because he had sex with his other girlfriend, Kiyoshi or whatever, and they were as they
Umi?
were going into the tent, whatever her name is,
Not
as they were
Umi.
going into the tent,
Suki, that's her name.
the
Been
Suki,
reading
the
too much. Yumi the Nightmare Painter.
as he's having sex with her, the camera pans into the moon.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's
What's
like,
your
dude,
profanity?
No,
Remember that
they're in
scene?
different places now.
It's a child show.
You got
There's
sex addiction? You got a problem
there's
with
no
sex?
bumping
You
or
addicted to
rumps.
sex addiction or something?
oh, okay, yeah, they were cuddling. No, he was a dirty little bag. You know what was happening. Slap answer.
All
That's
right.
how I feel about it.
Next, we move on to Pokemon Trainers Cantwell's top 5 favorite Pokemon. Number 5 is Zapdos. I'm sorry, that's a slop. He's not even the best of the legendary birds from Gen 1.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that take. Do I think that Zapdos is one of the top? Is this top 5 Pokemon ever?
This is
Or-
his. Okay, to be fair, it's his top 5 favorite Pokemon. So I guess we'll say ever, just because he's picking out of the 1,000 some odd Pokemon. He sticks to 2 generations, mostly the one. So shout out to him. But
Look, I mean, Zapdos is probably the coolest looking. Articuno's also up there. It's between the two of them. Moltres is definitely not the best. It's the one that gets Drill Peck. It's the one that makes the most of its flying type. I don't have a problem with it. Would I be on my top 5 list? No, but it's a favorite list and it's solid.
Yeah, I think it's rad. I think it's just like screams early 2000s.
he is
Very
also
spiky,
Team
right?
Instinct. So
It is very punk rock of him for sure.
number 4, Charizard.
Classic.
I'm about it.
No shade.
That's the top.
I'm team.
It's a little
Pikachu.
basic, but like everybody, it's basic because everyone loves Charizard except maybe Lou. I'm not sure.
Lose a
Water type
Venusaur
all the
type
way,
guy.
baby. Ew, not Venusaur. Bulbasaur, dog. Turtle gang.
Number 3, Pikachu. I'm gonna have to go with the slop again.
Slop all day. It should be Raichu.
I think Raichu's better design, and obviously just because the evolution bump is gonna get him.
Pikachu's cute.
You going with the
Are you
top,
going
Lou?
for Q factor? I mean, are you going for Q factor? Like, why? Why is it your favorite? It's just because like nostalgia, fighting.
I will say he does get the most accessories, so maybe there's that, because he is also a trading card game collector for Pokemon, so there's a lot of Pikachu, so maybe he's seen the value in that too.
Okay. All right.
I do love a good Nacho Libre Pikachu or Libre Pikachu.
From Smash.
That does it for Yeah, it does it for me.
Number-
But yeah, not good.
Number 2, Mewtwo.
Solid.
Solid,
I like
especially
Mewtwo.
if he has the armor. The armor Mewtwo, dope.
Or Mewtwo. Oh, I
From
understand.
the movie.
Mewtwo, what is that? Mewtwo X or whatever.
No,
Yeah,
well those I like. What is it? I think X is the one with like the weird like headband in the back.
Oh, then why? Either way, the
Yeah.
fighting one.
I think it's all in the hips with him, but
Whoa. So Lou's going
Whatever.
Smash. I mean, top. Number 1, Lugia.
You know I'm a degenerate.
Gosh. Number 1, Lugia, the only Gen 2 to make it. That's the top answer.
I'm so sorry. What did you say?
Lugia, number 1.
Lugia is great. Absolutely. I will say this list is a smidge. It's all legendaries,
Not Pikachu, not Charizard.
No, I mean you're looking at legendaries and probably the 2 most popular non-legendary Pokemon in the entire game. It's it's closer to a greatest hits than a great album, but
good answer. I like that a lot.
All right, we'll give
Not an
you
answer, but
I think you got 3 out of 5, so that's the top list there, Cantwell. We got another random list from Arn. We already talked about the winter. He says horror, and especially psychological horror, is one of the most human genres. He doesn't elaborate on it, so I guess that's all we got to work with.
I think I agree, and I don't. I think in this case, because he didn't elaborate, it's connecting with the arguments I would make in favor of it, even though I think there's arguments to be made against it. But because I'm not sure specifically what he's saying, I'm filling in the gaps with my own beliefs and going, yes.
Why would you say that's the case?
I think that what makes good horror and psychological thrillers good isn't actually scaring the viewer or the reader with this thing you thought up. I mean, it's easier to scare somebody with a visual, but especially in books, like, it's hard to just write something so inherently scary that people are like, "Ooh, I'm scared." But what you can do is you make them fall in love with these characters, and then you put the characters in danger. And so there's this, I think it creates a level of empathy and connection that is just tested and more primal than in a lot of other genres. And then traditionally with horror, you're looking at dark and broken subjects within humanity, and if it's done well, the horror element will reflect the thing that you're exploring. And so I think it looks at like the things about humanity that we like to ignore. And so I think that, you could argue it's one of the most human genres for sure.
What about you, Lou?
I mean, I can't follow up with that.
I mean,
like,
let's. I mean, what would be the next one? Like, comedy? That's a pretty human genre.
I'd say like drama is the only one
Yeah.
that could you could give it a run for its money.
War, maybe.
that's fair.
Because war never changes.
War's good. Yeah, I mean,
For your arguments, Mike, I'll give it a top. And it
Yeah.
was one of the most, so not the most. So
If it's just one of them, no question, top.
Next one is fairy/folk tales are underrated. Epic fantasy is slightly overrated.
I agree.
So is he? I guess again, this is we're kind of having to read because that's all he gives. Are we calling like fairy tales? You're thinking like Grimm's fairy tales? Like it has to be like a short story type thing. Because if you think like the foundation of epic fantasy goes back to Tolkien, and Tolkien was writing that as like based off, a lot of it was based off of, has some root in fairy tales, and like wrote it, especially like The Hobbit is, something he would tell his kids, and it's folk tales and everything like that, and he wanted it to be his own mythology. So I feel like they're almost go hand in hand. But
I'd say for the sake of argument, I think that The Hobbit would count as a long fairy tale. The Lord of the Rings would count as an epic, and that's just a very easily tangible. And my opinion, and that is, The Hobbit is underrated and Lord of the Rings is overrated. So yes, I agree that fairy tale and folk tale is underrated, or at least underappreciated and underrepresented. Where epic is kind of just like that's what everybody's trying to do, and so there's so much of it out there right now.
Yeah, I'll give a top for the epic fantasy being overrated. Lou?
no comment, but not in the same way as the men thing. That makes sense.
It doesn't, but I don't understand it. Comment, but it made me chuckle. So,
Mike, would you say Fairy Tale by Stephen King is in fact underrated?
no, well, I'd say that book is rated. It wasn't that good, and I don't think anyone thinks it's that good.
All right.
I thought it was good.
I haven't read it. So.
I liked it a lot, actually.
I thought it got steadily worse with every passing page.
It did get worse, but it started off so well that it just slowly worked me through. Now, would I have read it? No. I'm happy that I listened to it. It's definitely a listening book and not a reading book. I'm learning that as I get through but I don't know. I liked it. I liked it, and I like that. Never mind. I can't say it on the podcast. I liked it.
You know I'm a degenerate.
All right, we
He
gotta
says
slow
so
down
much.
with this. We gotta.
I am leaning. Yeah, that's probably true.
Next one is I think the sloppiest take, in my opinion, out of all the ones said today. Meat is overrated.
Oh, slop.
But why? Why is meat? Does it make his tummy hurt or?
I don't know. I even said like that's a hot take on for this pod, especially for this pod, and he's like, yeah, I know. He didn't give like any defense or anything. So, Lou, is
That is
meat overrated?
No, like it's good for you. Like I don't know. You know, like it's good. It has protein, it has fiber. You know, it has nutrients.
It's fats.
I don't know, like
You know.
fats. Like it's just like really good for you.
Iron.
I mean, I'm not gonna be a
vitamins.
carnivore diet. You know, like I think those guys. I think you should eat a balanced diet. But yeah, I don't know why. I would like to know why he thinks that.
I
Now,
suspect
bacon.
he's coming at it from a culinary perspective, not a nutrition perspective.
I do think people treat meat so much better than they treat vegetables, and if you would cook your vegetables like you would cook your meat, your vegetables would taste good, and you would stop being like, ew, icky vegetables. So in that way, for sure, overrated.
I'd say that though, even then, like overrated. I think that if the take was that vegetables and non-meats are underrated, I could agree with it. But at this point, I'm basically coming up with a whole new take to try and devil's advocate what is without a doubt the worst take of the whole episode.
Yeah, I think especially like for the most part, what meal isn't going to get better with some type of meat added to it?
Right? Yeah, 100%.
Well, like, I don't really love the bacon donuts and the bacon ice creams.
Well, okay.
Oh yeah,
Personally.
bacon being added to things needlessly and frivolously was something.
Thankfully, yeah, it's not 2015
we've moved
anymore.
past it, and thank God.
Yeah.
Main entrees, because yeah, dessert, things. No, it's a category of its own. But what like most main entrees, if it's a veggie entree, you add meat on it, it's gonna be so much better. So, slop. Last one from Arn is America is bad at bread and it's actively destroying our country.
Top.
I think there's two takes here. The first take, I agree, is top. The second, I think, is slop.
What's that it's actively destroying us? You don't think that's what's tearing the country apart?
Yeah, like it's not. I think there's there's like a list of things. There's like a plethora of things.
I don't know, man. If
can't
we
just say
just all ate
bread.
baguettes, the country might be better. Have we tried it? Sure, make my
No.
days better. Put me in a better mood.
So here's the thing. I do think there is nuance to this argument that like isn't typed out. Obviously, yes, America sucks at bread, but specifically, America sucks with the quality of ingredients. Like, how many people have you heard say they went to, Italy or somewhere in Europe and were like eating pasta which is just bread, or like they went to France and ate a baguette a day and they felt fine and they actually felt better and they lost weight because like the quality of our ingredients in America is so bad and so processed that like the bread itself is worse for us. And we also have this food pyramid pushed where like bread and grains are like an essential part of the food pyramid. And like, yes, carbs are the undisputed what's the one guy says carbs are the undisputed like source of energy in the diet, and like as long as you're not going overboard, they are a good thing. But like so much of what we eat is infused with this cheap uh flour and breads, and like they're really bad for us, and there are probably some health benefits that are coming along with it. And so from a health perspective, they are very negative, towards the country compared to the bread in other countries. I think that if that's what he's saying, it's a great take. If he's saying that we all need to be having French bread instead of American bread, like from a
What would
culinary
you
angle,
say American bread is? Just white bread? Like Wonder
yeah,
bread
like,
is American
yeah,
bread?
like I'm right there with you. I'd much rather have a French bread pizza than the same thing on a slice of Wonder Bread.
According to ShaneCo.com, they did most popular bread in every state based on the Google trends like in the past 12 months, which actually came out last year. For Michigan, it's pita bread, and I love me some pita bread. I think that's a unifying bread.
Pita bread is fantastic. I always forget about just like how much Mediterranean food is like a specifically like Metro Detroit thing relative to the rest of the country. Like I'll talk to people in other states and they're like, "What's Mediterranean food?" I'm like, "Oh,
What's
right,
a gyro?
yeah, yeah." Like, what a blessing it is to be in a place where we're close to that much good Mediterranean food. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Becca and I just watched a whole hour documentary on the Middle Eastern food in Metro Detroit. Would recommend. It's on YouTube. North Dakota's top bread is hamburger buns, and yes, I will say that is tearing the state apart.
I I have like a handful of things to say. I don't know if it's like worth about bread.
No,
I
go
don't know
for
if
it.
it's worth the pot. Okay, so one thing is that we haven't used the food pyramid in years. Like I don't know if you know
Mike's
that
about
or not.
50 years old, so
No, but I mean, like, what do 90% of kids wake up every day and have for breakfast?
cereal.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's completely fair. I think
Like, we
so.
might
But
not
like,
be actively using it, but the waves are still lapping on the shore.
yeah, so I think a big thing is that like we have to understand that bread is like what kept our nation together. Like bread
But Lou,
has kept poor people alive
But
because
Lou-
like it's affordable. Well, what's up?
man does not live on bread alone. Jesus said it.
Okay.
Come on.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So I just have to like put that in consideration that some people can't afford like French bread. They can only afford Wonder Bread, and that's what's keeping them like full. But so I don't know. So I just want to like say that part. And then I think like we can make the same argument with sugar. I think we can make the same argument with like
Red dye number 5.
over just like a bunch of kind of different things, right? Like it isn't just bread. It's the fact that people are just not taking in different types of nutrients. You know, so but I understand where you're getting at though.
Yeah, I think bread is definitely not the only problem in American health, especially as it relates to nutrition. I think the sugars and the dyes are definitely also. There's also a yellow dye. Somebody at work gave a presentation on because we just have to give random presentations in the freaking claims department about random stuff. And like, yeah, there's just a ton of chemicals we use in general. And I do think bread and sugar are definitely the two biggest ones. I mean, Wonder Bread definitely does help keep people alive, but it's also like we'd have to get into all sorts of economics and all sorts of other stuff, but I think there are better solutions. Like I think if we could fix the quality of the food we eat and come up with a different way to make affordable food for poor people that is like not half poison, I think that'd be the ideal to strive for. But it is good that there is something that kept people alive when they need it, you know. But
I don't disagree. That makes sense.
Okay. So getting on to our last list of the episode, we got Becca's top 5 worst NBA mascots. Number 5, or team names. Number 5 is the Los Angeles Lakers. The name made sense when it was in Minnesota, but LA is definitely not the land of 10,000 lakes. So now it just falls flat. People only like it because it's a classic, not because it's an actually good name.
So it was a good name.
Before you?
No, I got her in the basketball.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
It was a good name when they were in Minnesota, and it is a classic, and people like it because it's a good name and because it's a classic. And the thing of it is the alternative is to pull a Cleveland Browns, leave Cleveland, become the Baltimore Ravens, and result in this splintered, fractured fan base when like some people are like, well, no, the Browns are actually the Ravens, and other people, no, the Browns are the Browns. The Browns came back eventually.
The Titans are the Oilers, you know.
Yeah, like you run into this problem of like neither of these options is good, and just because there's not a 10,000 lakes in California doesn't mean that the Lakers roots can't be preserved, and that I think it's Slop. I think it's Slop all day, and I think it's a great name, and I think it should have a mascot. I think there should be a full lake right on the side of the court at all times.
California, according to Google, does have 3,000 named lakes, reservoirs, and dry lakes. So at least it's got some.
Yeah, I'd say, but like 2,500 of those are the.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I agree that it's a classic take. It's like a classic name, but I think the Brooklyn Nets is a worse basketball name. Like I get what you're going for. It's the net, but it's the Nets. So I'm gonna say that one is worse than the Lakers. For that, I'm gonna say it's a Slop. Lou?
It's hard for me to decide. I think it's Slop.
All right. Number 4, the New Orleans Pelicans. With all the cool birds out there, why on earth would you choose a pelican?
You ever try to fight a pelican?
I don't think she has.
Dude, those things are bloodthirsty, and they got a big mouth that they'll try and bite you with. Like, you don't, like, I get that, like, you think of the cartoon, like, the nice Finding Nemo pelican. But those things are actually vicious in real life. I am making all of this up, and it's a terrible mascot name.
I think there's so much good culture in New Orleans. It's crazy that they picked the Pelicans. Oh yeah,
that is an excellent argument.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue the New York Knicks is a worse name, but why don't they call it the New York? Oh gosh, I'm afraid to say. So it's the Knicks, but you add an ER and add Bacher at the end. I'm just afraid that I might accidentally mumble it on the internet, so I'm not gonna even try to say it. But there's that.
We could have Lou say it.
Oh, the N-word?
No.
I'm
All
so
right.
lost.
Anyways,
continue.
Knicks is short for the New York Knickerbockers.
There we go. I didn't know that until I just looked it up. That's a terrible team name. I understand why they go with the Knicks, but I'll give it a top answer. Next, number 3, the Utah Jazz. Because since when is Utah even known for jazz? Also, why are we naming our sports team after music genres? Imagine the Detroit Hip Hops.
First of all, Utah actually has a rich history of jazz. Leroy Smith.
Are you making this up again?
Oh my god!
You didn't know Mike was a basketball fan, and the history of it.
If I dated you, I would lose my effing mind. I'd be like, "Are you gaslighting me?"
Here's the thing: if you date me, I'll give you just for everyone in the world. Yes, I will gaslight you. I will pretend to be injured when I am not, and that's pretty much the only actual real gaslighting I do. And I freaking love that game because I'm really, really good at it. Even when people know I do it, I can stick to the bit long enough that they're like, something is seriously wrong, and they're like, nah, I'm good.
Their mascot's the Jazz Bear, and I love that, so I'm going to give that a Slop take.
Cute.
Number...
Oh, I gotta go top. Yeah, unless they migrated some of that does have a jazz history and then ended up in Utah, it makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Next up is the LA Clippers. That's right, LA is on here twice. I don't care if it's hair clippers, lawn clippers, nail clippers. It's dumb.
I might have to agree with that one. I don't understand what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, they originally came from the Buffalo Braves.
Buffalo Braves is a pretty cool name.
So I guess the Clippers is a reference to the city being known for the great sailing ships that pass through the San Diego Bay. I guess.
Oh, it's a reference to the type of ship. Okay. Yeah.
Is that still a top or Slop take? I'm gonna say top.
Say Slop.
Ooh. What about you, Lou? Your deciding factor.
No, please.
I think their mascot's like a dodo bird too. So So that's not
All right,
fun.
top.
All right, there we go.
I love Dodo fruit.
I did not know that, and it does change my opinion.
And number 1, the Indiana Pacers. What does that even mean? Like you're walking back and forth? Good for you, Pacers, but maybe you should try running up and down the court instead. The pace cars for the Indianapolis 500 is what they're referring to, and it's a dumb name for a basketball team. Top.
That is a dumb name. And do you guys remember Malice at the Palace? Those guys are.
Oh, shoot. I forgot to start with that. Happy 20th anniversary of Malice at the Palace, boys. We did it.
Is that today?
That's today, when we're recording November 19th. I wrote down my notes and made a different document, so I forgot to read it off.
Everybody throw a beer in celebration.
Just not at Ron
Throw a
Ortiz.
beer.
Or else I'll
Everybody
punch you.
punch a white man in his face.
Or Mr. World Peace, right? That's what his name is.
That's going to be a drop right there.
So, we going with top or slop, Mike?
Oh, for Pacers? Top.
Lou? Make you say it.
Top.
Top. All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you to all of our fans that wrote in. It was good getting some feedback, and I think we were relatively nice, except for the meat comment. But, sorry, Arn. You knew what you were getting into when you put that on this pod. Next week is going to be December when this episode launches, so we're going to be starting a whole December theme kickoff extravaganza, whatever. Lou, what are we talking about? Get us in the Christmas spirit.
Wait, are we...
Oh gosh, did you not read our Lou?
Top five. What do you call those things that families do over and over again?
Traditions?
Traditions.
Traditions. Top 5 traditions that some other family did.
What?
Top 5 traditions you wish your family did. Top 5 traditions. Yeah, top 5 traditions. Is that fair?
Top
No?
5
I'm so
traditions you wish your family did?
I don't know if I can think of
Yeah,
5.
sure. Or top 5 traditions that you thought were cool that your family didn't do.
Gosh, what if we hate Christmas traditions?
Oh, it's rough. Top 5.
It's cool. I'll just show up and accidentally have made a whole list where I did 5 traditions I'm super thankful I didn't have to do, and then just be like, oh crap, well I'll just give you this list. So.
All right,
Top
so
5.
No, top 5 Christmas traditions or Christmas traditions you did is
yeah,
great.
can we do both traditions and like ones we wish we did? I don't know if I have enough for.
Top 5. Just top 5 traditions. Period.
Top 5.
Yeah, it can be ones you
Christmas
had or
traditions.
ones you wish you had.
Sure.
All right, sounds.
That's fair.
With that, we'd like to thank you all for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Leave a top 5 list down below. We won't obviously read it off in the air, but let us know if you think meat is overrated and want your top 5 of whatever or top 5 worst of whatever. Let us know. We'd love to read and hear from you guys. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Also, check the comment section down below. I know we had some people posting there. Again, just love to hear from you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week and go Lions.
All right, guys, I gotta play ball.
He's addicted.